But all things being equal today as the equinox, and we're, as I was talking about earlier, we're the fact that we're these beings, you know, and even though we can backdoor something's going on in the body, we don't have to address the problem right head on. I mean, I know many of you are in relationship or have been in relationships, and sometimes if you address the issue head on, it's fine. But sometimes, you know, you got to sneak around and kind of backdoor it, prepare the soil, get the communication channels flowing, prime the pump so that the bigger healing can happen. So just FYI. I'm going to talk about the foot today because really so much, it's our foundation. And when we address things in the foot, sometimes things up the chain change, especially when we're talking about joints like the knees, because oftentimes when I've got knee stuff myself from a ski accident when I was in my 20s, that comes and goes. And one of the first things I do when I start to get like knee or hip pain is I look at the surrounding joints. So if my knee's bugging me, I'm going to look at my foot and my ankle and my hip, because my knee's a smaller joint. And what is my knee taking it? Just like the SI or your lower back, what's happening in your feet and your legs and the pelvic floor that's maybe not responding in those joints, and what's happening above it, because maybe those joints are either too mobile or not mobile enough. Because if you've got frozenness in your upper back and your lower back is really flexible, then all that shock absorption, that movement that could have happened over all those bones in your skeleton in the back, now it has to move in where it is moving, which is your lower back, which is why the philosophy here is a little bit of movement over a lot of places. So every place you have a joint, there's a little bit of movement possibility there. So to get everybody on that same page. So let me show you the skeleton. It's out of my closet now. I'll shut my phone off in a minute. We won't spend a ton of time here because I know you're here to move. But I wanted to show you the foot. I don't know if I can do this. Here we go. So when we're looking at the foot, we talk a lot about the heel. I wanted to show you this heel. Then you've got your shin bone, which comes in, and that's your inner ankle, which is top of part connected to your shin, which goes right into the knee. And then you've got your other ankle, which is your fibula, this other bone. And we have this heel, which takes the shock absorption. And we were talking about working the toes. Why don't you guys just go ahead and roll your feet out while I'm talking about the foot? That way you can be rolling your feet out while I'm talking about it. But we talk about lifting the arches, and we talk about the alignment of the foot, and we do all these mechanical things like use our muscles to put our foot into a certain tone. But if we reorganize and get the organization of the bones together and focus from organizing the bones, then the foot will just spring into its functional natural arch. So this bone here, which I don't know if you can see, I'm going to scoot this a little bit closer. That's not the heel. This is the heel. This bone right in here that sits right underneath your shin bone. This is called the talus. And this one doesn't touch the floor, it doesn't respond like your other foot bones do. The shin bone rests on top of that, your heel's underneath it, and this bone here on the top of your foot, the navicular, that connects into your toes. Why the talus is important is because it is really functioning as what's happening in your arch. If the talus slides to the midline, that would be like, would give you the illusion of a flat foot, and then your foot bones will flatten out like this. If the talus is lined up right over your heel bone, though, your arch will naturally spring into shape, and then you don't have to use any external muscles to get that going up your leg, which can then add tension to your knee, your hip, and your back. Okay? That was my little anatomy lesson of the day. I hope you liked it. I'm going to move the skeleton back away, skeleton. And I'm sure you've rolled out one foot by now, so let's change to the other. We'll stand on it, take a moment and feel. I'm warm already. Test it. Take a couple balance things here. And then as you roll out your other foot, as you saw all those bones and those joints in your foot, allow the soft tissue to say a little bit of movement over a lot of places. Allow the soft tissue to soften so you can actually find some shock absorption, some movement, some connection, some new connection with the earth. And so instead of me having to use all those muscles and tissues in the foot to pick up my arch, I can find my functional arch. Functional arch meaning the bones are designed to take weight. So if my bones are lined up to take the weight, then my muscles don't have to grip to hold me in place. Yum. Okay, I'm gonna do my other foot real quickly here. Stay there for one more minute or so while I just whip this other foot out. And then go ahead and stand and feel. And think about that foot, that talus. It's right above your heel, right in here, sliding right on top of your heel bone and having your shin bone come right down on top of that talus. So make a talus sandwich. You can actually sort of go to the outside of your feet and the insides without using your muscles. Just see if you can feel that talus bone sliding. You may or may not actually feel it, but pretend you do. Okay, great. From here, let's go ahead and take the arms over the head. Clasp your left wrist with your right hand. Bring your feet together if you want to, or keep them hips distance apart. And just take the body over to the side. Feel the feet now really opening and receding weight through the body so your ribs can be free. Breathe into your lower lung lobe, your lower ribs on your left side. Find that space of really breathing into those lower lung lobes, lower back ribs, all the way down into your lower back and your left sit bone, the triangle of your left foot. Transfer the weight onto your left, come up to the top, the ball of your right foot. And if you can, pick the foot up for a second and put it back down. And then inhale, come back up. And then float the arms down. Take a moment and feel. Yum. Other side. Right hand, clasp it. Take it up, inhale, and exhale over to the side. Breathe in. Feel that breath moving right into those lower ribs here. Find the lung lobe, that lower lung lobe, into your lower back, all the way into your right sit bone, the right pelvic half, moving down into your right foot. Feel that transfer of weight moving through the bones of your body. Pour that weight into your right foot and come up onto the ball of your foot on your left foot if you can. Don't do it if it's going to hurt your back or anything because everyone's at a different place. And then pick up your left foot if you can. Take it back down. And then inhale up. Float the arms down. Take a moment and feel. From here, let's go ahead and take the tiptoe of your right foot and just start to roll the bones of the toe bones. You just saw all those bones of the foot, and now so all those foot bones. Now your ankle bones, and now your shin bones. There's two of them into the knee space, thigh bone, into the hip. So you're getting that whole continuum lubed up. And now start the other direction with the circle. Oops, I need to bring this closer. I hope you could hear me all that time. Toe bones, ankle bone, foot bones, ankle bones, shin bones, knee, thigh bone. And then go ahead and just shake that foot around. And if you want to add the sound, which helps your fluid factor, and stand. Take a moment and feel. Notice that connection now in that right side of your body, perhaps maybe even up into your head and neck and face. Pour the weight onto your left foot, your right foot, come up to your left toes and then just roll those toe bones out. Foot bones, there's a lot of them, even that talus. Ankle bones, it's kind of right between the foot and the shin. Shin bones, knee space, thigh bone into your hip. And then other side, toe bones, foot bones, all the foot bones, your ankle bones, shin bones into the knee space, thigh bone, hip joint, and then shake it out. Shake it all around, add the sound. And stand. Take a moment and feel. Let's go ahead and breathe in. Inhale up. Exhale, soften shoulders, sink hips. Inhale up. Exhale, bring the arms back behind you, clasp the hands. Inhale, open the collarbones. Exhale, cascade forward. Release the arms down. Inhale, come up to chair. Exhale, soften shoulders, sink hips. Inhale, up. And exhale, float. Only go as far as it's good for you, depending on what joints are talking to you now. Inhale, float the arms up. Lower back ribs. Exhale, lengthen. Feel a little bit of movement over a lot of places. Inhale, up. Exhale, float the arms down, clasp the hands. Inhale, open the collarbones. Exhale, come forward. Release the arms down. Inhale up to chair. A little bit of movement over a lot of places. So I'm not just thinking of my big joints. I'm thinking of all of my body, taking a little bit of the work, a little bit of the action. One more time. Inhale, float arms up. Exhale, soften shoulders, sink hips. Inhale, up. Exhale, clasp hands behind. Open the collarbones. Inhale. Exhale, cascade forward. Release the arms down. Inhale, up to chair. Exhale, soften shoulders, sink hips. Inhale, up. Exhale, float down. Take a moment and feel. And without fixing or adjusting anything, just notice how you're standing on your feet. How does it feel in there? Great, looks good. How does your relationship with the floor, with the earth, with yourself now? Do you feel like you're standing on your own 2 feet? With clarity and confidence? Or with something different than before class started? Let's take the legs wide-ish. I'm trying this cross mat thing to keep my mats from creeping because I'm on carpet. I'm not sure it's working. So I'm just trying things out. Legs wide-ish. Rotate your right foot out, left foot in. Inhale. Exhale, bend that front leg. Inhale up. Exhale, slide and glide. So now allow as your shin bone moves over your foot. We cue in yoga to track the knee right over the toe, which is a good basic cue. But you can still be tracking the knee right over the foot and not have things really be aligned in the foot. So can I feel my talus sliding on top of my calcaneus, my heel bone? Can I feel that direct transfer of weight from my whole body through my shin bone down to the talus into my foot, my heel foot, the part of my foot? And then it goes out through the toes. Just see if I can connect myself right in there. Because why not? Let's just do one more round. Just with the idea of allowing myself to connect with my talus. And Carol and anyone else that's having knee stuff, just don't go so deep. Just go a little bit if necessary. Come on up, walk the feet together. Stand and feel. Notice if anything's starting to let go in your back, open up in your SI, and what's about your ribs even. I mean, I'm starting to feel openness through my whole breathing apparatus because I'm opening my pelvic floor as well. Legs wide-ish. Rotate left foot out, right foot in. Inhale, exhale, bend. Inhale up, exhale, slide and glide. And now as I go down, can I, this bone right in the base of my foot here, the talus, can I feel it? It's not going to move a lot, but can I just have awareness that it's there? Can I have awareness that it's the thing that's communicating between all the weight in my body to my foot? It's the one that says, okay, here's some weight, foot. Take it into the heel distributes it further. But if my talus is slid off my heel, then all those little joints in my foot can't take that weight. Then something has to work too hard. It's like if you're running a business, you know, if you've got your own business, you don't want to have to do all the work. If everybody does their part, no matter how little or big, many hands make light work. One more round. But if someone's just sort of hogging all the work, then, or nobody's doing their work, and release. Come to standing. And see what happens if you don't fix your feet. If you already did, that's fine. Notice how often do we fix our stance? How often do we fix ourselves? I'm not standing right. I'm not doing a good job. And yes, if we're recalibrating our foundation, we maybe have some awareness there. But what happens if I just see where do I end up? We'll come back to that. Let's come down to the floor. All fours. Curl your right toe underneath. Inhale up, and then exhale, slide the hips back, stretching out the bottom of the foot a little bit more. Also, now you're getting some lower rib action. Inhale up, and as I exhale, slide back. Can I feel my lower back ribs, my lower lung lobe move down into my tail, moves down into my pelvic floor, into my feet, into my foot. Inhale back up. Exhale, so I'm feeling my spine move through my tail, into my pelvic halves, up into my bones, down into my bones. I mean, keep going back and forth. And as I feel that container of my bony structure, my internal organs feel held. One more. And inhale up, tap that toe out. Remember just to do as much as it's good for you. And then feel free to shake it out. Just get that fluid again. Anything that's jiggly, jiggle it more. Where am I holding? Where do I think I should hold everything in? Hold it together. Maybe I don't have to. Maybe right now, letting it go is going to serve me better. And release. Curl your left toe underneath. Inhale up. Exhale, slide it back. Only go as far as it's good for you. Inhale up. So as I slide it back, I'm sensing now my foot bones, and then that talus moving between my foot and my shin, going into my knee, into my thigh bone, into my hip socket, into my pelvic half. Feeling it move from my tail up my spine to my lower ribs. So we took it from the reverse pathway this time. One more. And come on up. Tap that toe out. Shake it out. Make sure you have plenty of padding underneath your knees here. Slide your right foot back, place it onto the floor, and then inhale, left arm up. Inhale, feel that arm over the head. I'm sorry, this is my right arm up. My left arm's down, my right arm's up, my right foot's down. So if you did a twister, you'd be looking like this. So inhale, right arm over the head. Exhale, back down. Inhale, up. Palm turns down as I scoop it back down. Feel that space in my rib cage, in my legs. And back. One more time. Some of you can stay right there with the arm over the head. Some of you will just stay right here, breathing into the ribs, lower back, belly, pelvic half, all the way down into the foot. Some of you will take that right foot off the floor. Make sure you have enough padding underneath your left knee. If it bugs your knee, don't lift your foot. Feel that space and breath now, that connection between my foot and my hand, moving through my spine. Hand to the mat, roll over, square the hips off if you can. And now find that sense of connection between my foot, my heel, my talus, up my shin, into my leg, into my spine, into my ribs, into my left arm as it comes up. Couple more breaths here. Find that fluid, that breathing. The lower lung lobes reaching down towards your pelvic halves. Arm down, legs down. Take a moment. So slide your left foot back. Spin that left foot down. Inhale, right arm up. Inhale, arm over the head. Exhale, take palm down. I'm feeling that breath of fresh air. Thank you for fresh air. Like we said earlier, breathe without dying. Lower the bar. It's awesome to have. It's just great. I love clean air. Ironically, that's one reason why I moved here. All right, arm over the head. Stay there. Feel that lower lung lobe moving down into your pelvic halves, while the armpit, the middle and upper lung lobes can move up. And then if you're ready, you can pick that left leg off the floor. Feel that connection between the foot and the hand. Now your left side is not weight bearing here, but you can still feel the connection through the bony structure, or maybe you're feeling it through your fascia or your fluids or something else. And then left hand down, roll gently over, square those hips off, which means I'm having my hip bones equal to the floor. Feel that connection from my heel up through my talus, up into my shin, my knee, my thigh bone, into my pelvic half. Moves right through the back into my tail, up my spine, into my ribs. From my ribs, I haven't talked about this, but it goes into your shoulder blades, which move into your right arm. And feel that connection out the top of the head. Now from your hand to your heel, the one that's in the air, but now can I find my hand to my heel on my supporting side? Maybe I can, maybe I can't. Release your hand down, release the leg down. And let's just take a few cat-cows here. Inhale, kind of arch the spine, exhale, curl. Inhale, exhale, curl. Inhale, exhale, curl. One more. Inhale. Exhale, curl. And let's go ahead and roll over onto our backs. Feet flat on the floor, knees to the ceiling. Feel that sense of your heel of your right foot moving down into the floor. Right above it is the talus, and right above that is your shin bone. So feel from the knee, just a connection, doesn't have to be hard, all the way from your shin to the talus to the heel, and then move it from the heel. Let's go to the outside of the foot, those outer two toes, across the ball of the foot to the big toe, and then come up to your big toe ball mount and come back down. Let's trace that pathway one more time. So from my heel, from my knee through the shin, talus, heel, to my outer two toes, across the ball to my big toe. So I'm actually going to transfer and maybe even lift my heel there. One more time. Right heel. So I'm taking it through the shin, talus, heel, outer two toes, so the outside of the foot, across the ball of the foot to my big toe ball mount, to my big toe and my second toe, and down. Take a moment. Notice how sides of your pelvic halves feel. How does your lower back feel? And I just had to give myself more space because I actually felt more space in my lower back ribs from doing that. How's your breathing in the guts? Easier, changed, same? And now let's just do something radical. I know I don't like to get up and down in this class a lot, but let's stand up. Stand for a moment and notice, remember, we just did the right side, and notice how are you standing on your foot? Different than the left foot? I know for me, I just feel like, wow, I could just pick my left foot up really easily. And then take a little walk around for a second. And just, if you have enough room, you might notice, do your feet feel different or the same, or how's your gait? Has it changed, or maybe it's just don't have enough room to tell? Come back and then just stand and don't fix your feet. Just notice. And then look down. Are they where you thought they were? Other side. Feet flat on the floor, knees to the ceiling. Let's press down with that left heel. So I'm going from my left knee through my shin bone to the talus to the heel, moving it to my outside of my little two toes, across the ball of the foot to my big toe ball mount to my big toe. And I'm going to lift my heel there just to give myself the idea that I'm walking there. So again, knee, shin bone, talus, heel, out to the outside of the foot, little two toes across the ball mount, big toe ball mount to the big toe. One more time. Knee, shin bone, talus, heel, outside of the foot to the little toes, cross the ball mount, big toe, and there we go. Take a moment. Oh, let's stand up and feel it on the other side. What the heck? You don't have to if you don't want to. I just feel like I should give you the opportunity, and just notice how are you standing now. And don't fix your feet and see how it feels. Has something shifted for you? I know for me, I just feel way more here. Even after all that footwork we did at the beginning, feel free to take a quick walk or jog. We'll talk more about pathways of weight in another class, but we just set you up for that. And then stand, don't fix your feet. See, are they where you thought they were? It doesn't matter if they are or they aren't, or if they're in a yoga, I just said stand, so wherever they were is where they were. Let's go back down now. You may want to get a strap handy. So here we are. Both heels, both knees, shins, talus, heels, outer ball. Now I'm just going to go to the triangles of the feet. Inhale, exhale, press into both triangles of the feet, which would be your heels, big toe ball mount, little toe ball mount, and then just feel that pelvic half, your pelvis lift off, and then inhale back down. So as I exhale, I'm pressing down with the triangles of my feet, allowing now my sacrum to lengthen away as my tailbone responds to my legs. So as my legs are lifting, my pubic bone, my sit bones are all lifting, and my tailbone is responding to my pelvis. It's different than lifting from my spine here, but now I'm leading from my legs as I do my little pelvic tilts, lifting up and down. I'm pressing down as I exhale, inhale, lengthening, bathing my lower back, bathing my sacrum, my tailbone with air. As I inhale, really putting a cushion of space and length as I come back down. As I exhale, I'm feeling that emptying of my old thought constructs, my old way of being that is no longer serving me. I can keep what was serving me. I don't have to throw everything out. We can be a little bit more surgical here. It's not about just throwing everything out. Just a couple more of these. And then this one, let's stay up. And notice the spring you have as we organize the bones. Notice your feet. Can you feel the triangles of the feet? Heels, little toe ball mounts, big toe ball mounts. And then inhale, come on down. Take a moment. Take your feet about mats width apart. Let your knees knock together for constructive rest. And really allow some breath in your pelvis. Okay, let's take one more. Inhale. Exhale, press it up a little bit more, just as high as you'd like to go, as high as it feels supported for you. And then exhale. Inhale, right arm over the head. Exhale, draw the elbow down towards the ground. Inhale, back up over the head, and then exhale, back down to the ground. Other side. Inhale, left arm over the head. Exhale, draw that elbow down to the side, only as far as it goes. Inhale, over the head. Exhale, back down. Let's do both arms at the same time if you want to try it. Inhale, arms over the head. Exhale, elbows down. Inhale, back up. Arms down. I'm going to take one more. Inhale, up. Exhale, drag the elbows. Keep the elbows there. Roll on your upper arms. Walk your upper arm bones in towards the body. Hands facing your hips. Press down with your upper arm bones as if they were feet. And see how much more space you might have in your spine now. Relax your brain. Relax your eyes. And then inhale. Put tons of space in your spine as you lengthen and lower down onto that cushion of air. Feet mats width apart. Knock the knees together and breathe. Cross your right ankle over your left. And this is the place where the knee will sometimes take it, because if our hip or our ankle aren't breathing or doing their share of the movement here, the knee, because it's such a spacious joint, will oftentimes move more than it's designed to, or than is balanced for it to do. So we want to keep that balanced joint space in the knee. So inhale, exhale, bring your legs in, and then inhale, left toe barely touches the floor. Exhale, bring it on in. Inhale, barely touches the floor. Should be feeling no pain in any of my joints. Hopefully some breathing and some stretching and some space increasing in my hip. And if my hip is locked, I'm going to move less. If my hip is locked, I'm going to move less to wait for my hip to be ready to move, so my knee and ankle don't have to do it. Undo the legs. Take a moment. Cross over your other ankle. Inhale. Exhale, bring the legs in. Inhale, right toe barely touches the floor. Exhale, back up. Keep going on your own breath pattern, your own tempo. Remember, sometimes the joints need a little bit longer to buy in, to say, yeah, okay, maybe a little bit more movement. If we cannot be in a hurry with ourselves, oh my God, what big teaching is that? If we cannot be in a hurry with ourselves, what might happen? What sense of ease might come in? Our digestion might be better. Our joints might not be so sore. I'm just saying. And release. Cross your right ankle over. Now bring it in for through the hole pose. Remember, take care of the knee. You can go ahead and just hold it here. Let it, even though it may seem like nothing's happening, if you feel it in an ankle or knee joint, it's not what we want to do. This is where that talus will come into play in these through the hole position. We don't want that talus to slide off the calcaneus. We want that talus to be right on top. So even though your foot might be in that, what we call that sickled place, doesn't mean your talus has slid off your calcaneus. So that's why flexing the foot is a down and dirty way of saying, keep the talus where it is. But just because you're flexing your foot doesn't mean your talus is in the place. But that's what that cue is trying to achieve. Relax your brain. You don't have to memorize any of this anatomy. The fact that I've been using those words, your body is awake to them now. You just being here is enough. One more breath. And release. Take that leg down, take a moment. Cross your other ankle over, bring it on up. Remember, you can use a block, put on a chair, up the wall, or just stay right here. If your in between joints are feeling, if they're feeling like they're being asked to do too much, which means they hurt. And then release. If you have a strap, great. Other things that work as straps, you know, your bathrobe has those little ties maybe, those work great too because they're nice and soft. Go ahead and put your strap around the ball of your foot if you can. Bend your hip, knee, and ankle just a little bit and just press through and just look at your ankle and just notice where you think your talus might be. And can you just allow, as you press, bend and flex a little bit here, play with your foot, moving your foot around a bit and just saying, what can I do with my foot and how does that affect the bone right underneath my shin bone, that talus? And even if you don't really know what you're doing, that's good enough. And then just stay there. Leg as straight as you want it to be, breathing into your hamstring, feeling that triangles of the feet, that heel, moving up through the talus, through the shin, into your thigh bone, right into your pelvic half, right into that sit bone. Take your straps into your right hand. You want to take your leg out to the diagonal. Keep your left bum on the floor. You might need to bend your right leg here or straighten it. It's up to you. You can also straighten your left leg if you want to. Depends on what's going to give you the most support that you're seeking right now. Feel that pelvic half of the right opening at the pubis now. And now feel your left pelvic half roll back down towards the ground. So I'm really feeling an opening in that little joint that is where your pubic halves meet in the front. So that's a little joint. We don't want to do a lot of movement. That would be just weird. But a little bit of movement. Just a little bit. It's like answer one phone call. That's it. It's one less something else had to do. Can I relax the front of my spine? Go ahead and bend a leg. Release it down to the floor to meet the other legs. Take the strap into your other foot now. So again, playing with that talus, just underneath your ankle bone. There's a bump there, that would be your navicular. So it's somewhere between your ankle bone and that bump, sliding it out right in the place kind of right above your heel, below your ankle bone. And then just can bend and straighten and just move the foot around and just see how do those bones move. And just find what you think is where you want to hang out and explore right now with that shin moving right into the talus, moving right into your heel, and then breathe here. Feeling that whole sense of connection from the foot, through the talus, through your shins, through your thigh, into your hip, into that pelvic half on your left. Breathe into that fullness, that structural support. Place the strap into your left hand. You can bend your left knee if you need to or want to. Take your body out, your leg out to the diagonal. Keep that right pelvic half rolling onto the floor. That idea of opening at the pubic symphysis, so right where your two pubic halves meet at the pubic bone. You're not going to necessarily feel it open. Maybe you're that in tune and you can feel that subtle movement. Some of you probably can. But just know that there's breath there. And release. Bend that knee if you want to. Take the leg down. Bring both legs up. Now breathe into your whole pelvic floor. To that space in your pelvic halves and your tail. Exhale, release. Let that energy come back into you. Inhale, let that whole pelvic floor move away from the body. And then exhale, let it come back in. You can also have your legs wider than your belly here. If your knee's not bending that much, take a position that works for you. Now bring your knee to a slight 90-degree here, at 90-ish, a slight flex of the feet. Press the heels of your hands into your thigh flesh, right on your top of your thigh here by your knee. Press in and slightly up, in and slightly up. Lower back to the floor. Press as hard or not as hard as you want to. Relax your jaw, relax your shoulders. Get softer in your brain. So the length of your lower back. The length of your lower back. Feel the breath in your pelvic floor. Feel your feet connecting into your pelvic halves. And release. Take it into Shavasana. Good. So get comfortable in Shavasana. Now just watch the rise and fall of your belly here. Moving from the bones to a more fluid, soft tissue. And as you just watch the rise and fall of your belly, or watch your body breathe, feel that sense of fluid, that fluid structure inside your bones. Enjoy the container that your bones provide. That solid, with that structure of your bones, your breath can relax even more with each exhale. So your insides become less like bone and more like soft tissue, fluid, resilient, responsive. And now with each exhale, just allow any of your soft tissues that felt like it had to bear the weight of the world, had to carry weight and carry a burden. Just let that weight of the world, those weights, those burdens, physical, mental, emotional, or other, just drain out with each exhale. Now, if you like, at the end of your exhale, if you'd like just to pause there a little bit longer and just to rest in that place of freedom, a place of lightness and emptiness, go right ahead. So that when your next inhale comes, it comes from a place inspired by relaxation, inspired by freedom, inspired with the knowingness that you have legs to stand on and you have the bones and the structure to carry whatever is required of you. And you still have plenty of space to be free and to breathe. You have both. And when you're ready, take a deep breath in and release. You can gently wiggle your fingers and toes a little bit to find the edges of your brand new physical, mental, emotional, and vibrational body. Slowly roll your head from side to side, feeling your brain soft and balanced, supported by your skull, that soft tissue being held by your bones. And then when you're ready, just roll yourself onto one of your sides into a loose fetal position. And eventually push yourself up into a comfortable seated position for a short yet amazing closing. As you find your seat wherever it is, feel your sit bones, your tailbone, your pubic bone, your leg bones. Really feel the power, how your bones crave to take the weight of gravity. And as you really allow the weight of gravity to pour through those bones, feel that rebound moving up through your internal organs, through your soft tissue, relaxing your guts, freeing your lungs and heart, softening your ears, eyes, and brain. Feeling your brain as soft tissue instead of hard. Your eyes as receptors, your ears receiving. And that soft tissue inside, ready to respond, knowing you have the bones to back it up. Feel that sense of confidence and clarity that comes from this organization of the bone structure. When you're ready, take a deep breath in. Exhale, release chin to chest to seal practices. Rub your palms together if you like. Just gently rub your face, your skull. Stroke your neck and throat gently. Rub your heart, your arms. Give yourself a hug. This is me hugging you, you hugging me. your belly, your legs, anything else that could use a little acknowledgement from yourself to yourself, because that would be the best acknowledgement. Thank you all so much for being here. It's, again, my honor, my privilege, and I'm just really happy that we have time that we can share. Namaste.